Hello there, my name is Thomas O'Regan and I am a professional property investor here in Australia. Now, I just wanted to run you guys through the numbers or my thinking when it comes to developments and making money on developments versus just buying investments as investments and making money on them as pure investments. Now, I want to use an example of a couple of properties that are in my area, or one specific property in my area that is on the market, has been on the market for the last year for a $10 million price point. Now, I want to point out that $10 million price point in my area for a very nice location is a reasonable price, but I would say the bottom of the market or the entry level for the market here is about $3 million for a house on land. Now, this land component isn't too small, but I would say it is the area or the views you get from the property, because it's absolute beachfront, is premium. And I would say the land value in this area without a house in it or with a house in it that's a knockdown would be anywhere from $4 million to $4.5 million. Now, these people are trying to sell this property with a lift. It's a very luxurious house for $10 million. And I want to point out why it's been an absolutely terrible investment for them or decision, if they made that decision with the idea of generating money or generating wealth or making a huge profit. If I think they would have been much better just not even developing the property at all. And I'm going to continue to try and explain that to you guys today now. So let's assume now the history of this property is irrelevant, but just so you guys know, they bought the property about 10 years ago for a much cheaper price than what the land value is today, okay? But basically, for this example, let's just assume these people bought the property for the land value and it was a knockdown. They bought it for $4 million, say, and they built a house in there that's now worth $10 million. Now, I just want to point out, in this market, build cost is extremely expensive, and if you're talking about making a three-story house plus car space, which is a fourth story with a basement plus an elevator, I would range the build cost to be anywhere from $1.5 million to $3 million. You can never really know. You can just estimate. I don't know what these people spent, all right? But it's a luxurious build, so they could have spent, let's just call it $2 million, right? So let's say they're into this property for $6 million, and let's assume that they've used the whole amount as a loan, whole amount's debt. So the property took about a year and a half to build, and plus permits, I would say maybe a year and 18 months, a year and a quarter, or 3/4, let's say, to build the whole thing, including permits. So the holding cost of that is quite expensive, and obviously through this whole period, they're not getting a return on their money, they're not getting any yield on their money, they're not getting rental income, is another way of putting it, right? They're not getting income through rent. They're just waiting to increase the property's value through development and sell it at a profit. Now, the thing is with development, you never know what the market's going to be like when you get to the point where you want to sell the property, right? So I guess the fact is the market is terrible right now. Selling properties at a premium price in a premium area is not easy, because these premium areas struggle to grow, especially when interest rates are very high, which they are right now. Now, so they're into it for $6 million. Let's assume it's all debt. They're getting no return on it whatsoever, and basically the construction is fully built now. It's probably been, let's just call it 2 years since they finished the construction. The property's now been on the market for almost a year. Okay, so let's say 3 years into the deal, and it's costing them $6 million in debt. Whatever the repayments are for that is a lot. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars per year that it's costing them, and then all the time that it takes, not that they do not sell the property, is costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, right? So that's that. The whole time, no rental income is being generated. And I just want to point out, like, it's a terrible return on investment. However you look at it, it's a terrible, terrible return on investment. It's tied up their funds for a very long period of time, and they're just waiting, hoping that the property will sell eventually. Now, what would I, as an investor, what would I prefer to do with my money instead? Okay, so the fundamentals of the property is the land component under these properties is where the real value is, right? So either the location of the land itself, or the premium location, view potential of the land itself, or the size of the land is what can determine the price of the land, right? So let's say the land value, as we said, is $4 million. Now, if you were to instead buy as many properties as you could have otherwise bought for this same amount of money at the land value, and rented them out as an investment property instead, you would have made a far better return. It would have been far safer, and you're getting a yield all along the way. You don't have to worry about if the property sells for the price you wanted to or not, and you don't have to be losing money for the entire time that you're owning the property. That's why I'd much prefer to buy properties that are at land value and then just hold them and wait for the land to appreciate while taking a rental yield, while taking an income the whole time. Hopefully this helped. If you guys are thinking about development, definitely run your numbers and understand what is going to affect your property or your development if the markets change in your area. See you guys next time. Bye.